Prepare to unleash your darkest fears with 10 disturbing hidden horror movies you can stream right now. From heart-pounding scares to twisted tales of terror, these brutal selections will haunt your dreams. Let's dive right in. Number 10, The Damned.
I wouldn't sleep if I were you. A thing like that never stops.
When a 19th century Icelandic fishing village is cut off by a brutal winter, young widow Eva is forced into leadership after a tragedy leaves her crew broken and desperate. But when they deny aid to shipwrecked survivors and steal their supplies, something ancient awakens. The Damned is a suffocating descent into Arctic isolation where guilt curdles into madness and Norse folklore becomes terrifyingly real. The line between hallucination and haunting blurs as the crew faces chilling apparitions, whispering winds, and the creeping dread that maybe the dead aren't resting after all. What makes it uniquely horrifying is the atmosphere, whiteout landscapes, flickering lanterns, and the oppressive silence of moral collapse. Number 9, Carriers.
Back off! Back off! We're not infected.
He's got it, doesn't he?
In a world ravaged by a deadly pandemic, 4 survivors cling to hope and each other as they journey across the desolate American Southwest in search of a safe haven. But the real threat isn't the virus. It's what they become in order to stay alive. Directed by Alex and David Pastor, Carriers strips away the comfort of civilization and forces its characters to confront horrifying moral dilemmas at every turn. As their bonds fray and trust crumbles, survival takes on a savage, almost feral edge. With sun-bleached highways, abandoned towns, and haunting silences, the film paints a bleak portrait of humanity undone by fear. What makes it uniquely terrifying is its realism. No monsters and no jump scares, but just the slow and cruel disintegration of compassion. Number 8, The Ruins. A sunny vacation in Mexico turns into a waking nightmare when 4 friends follow a stranger to an unmarked archaeological site deep in the jungle. What they find isn't treasure or history, but a living, breathing terror that hungers for blood. Directed by Carter Smith, The Ruins traps its characters on a remote hilltop overrun by carnivorous vines that slither, listen, and burrow beneath the skin. As the group battles dehydration, infection, and madness, the real horror grows inside them, literally. What makes this film unforgettable is its unrelenting descent into body horror and helplessness, where nature itself becomes the predator. There's no escape, no help, only the cruel realization that the ruins were never meant to be found. Number 7, The Collection. A blood-soaked nightclub massacre is only the beginning in The Collection, where a sadistic trap artist known as The Collector turns human beings into grotesque works of art. Directed by Marcus Dunstan, this sequel to The Collector plunges into a nightmarish lair filled with mechanical horrors, booby-trapped corridors, and twisted trophies of pain. When young Elena is taken from the carnage, her only hope is Arkan, her reluctant rescuer and the only person to have ever escaped the Collector's clutches. Together, they descend into a subterranean fortress of pure terror, where every corner promises death. What sets this film apart is its fusion of slasher and survival horror, dripping with style and unrelenting tension. Number 6, Hatching. Tinja, a 12-year-old gymnast desperate to please her image-obsessed mother, stumbles upon a mysterious egg in the woods, an egg that grows, cracks, and hatches into something both monstrous and strangely familiar. Directed by Hannah Bergholm, Hatching is a chilling Finnish body horror fable that explores the grotesque side of perfection and the cost of repressed emotions. As Tinja's doppelganger creature evolves, mirroring her pain and fury, the line between nurture and nightmare blurs. The pristine suburban life her mother crafts on social media begins to rot from the inside out, bleeding into chaos and violence. What makes this film so disturbing is its eerie blend of fairy tale imagery with raw psychological terror. Number 5, Revenge. A sun-drenched desert retreat turns into a blood-soaked battleground when a young woman named Jen is left for dead after a brutal assault by her lover's hunting buddies. But Jen doesn't die. She rises, wounded, enraged, and reborn into something primal. Directed by Coralie Fargeat, this French survival horror twists the male gaze into a weapon, crafting a hyper-stylized and ferocious tale of transformation. As Jen stalks her attackers through a scorched, unforgiving wasteland, the film explodes with vibrant gore, surreal tension, and relentless pacing. Number 4, Titane. After a childhood car accident leaves her with a titanium plate in her skull, Alexia grows into a showgirl with a strange and almost erotic obsession with machines. But when a string of brutal murders forces her on the run, she assumes a false identity and her body begins to change in ways no human should. Directed by Julia Ducournau, Titane is a raw, blistering blend of body horror and surreal identity crisis where gender, trauma, and metal twist together into something utterly alien. The film pulses with chrome sheen, dripping oil and blood in equal measure, refusing to flinch as Alexia's transformation escalates into the grotesque. What makes it terrifying is its unpredictability because there's no map for where this story goes. Only the cold hum of machinery and the sound of a body breaking. Number 3, The Eye. Blind since childhood, Mun regains her sight after a corneal transplant, but what she sees isn't just the living. The film is a chilling supernatural horror from Hong Kong that stares into the thin veil between life and death. As Mun begins witnessing shadowy figures and witnessing deaths before they happen, she uncovers a terrifying truth about the donor whose eyes she now possesses. The movie drips with dread, building suspense through silence, reflection, and slow, creeping reveals that turn everyday moments into nightmares. What makes it uniquely horrifying is how it weaponizes sight itself. Because every glance, every mirror, every hallway becomes a passage to something unseen and unwanted. Number 2, A Tale of Two Sisters. After returning home from a mental institution, sisters Sumi and Soo-yeon find their family's countryside house cloaked in silence, shadows, and something sinister lurking just beneath the surface. Directed by Kim Ji-woon, A Tale of Two Sisters is a haunting South Korean psychological horror that spirals through grief, trauma, and unraveling sanity. Their stepmother's cruelty, a ghostly presence in the halls, and buried family secrets twist the girl's reality into a fractured nightmare. The film's slow, deliberate pacing lures you into a dreamlike trance, only to shatter it with icy terror and devastating revelations. Number 1, The Orphanage. Laura returns to the abandoned orphanage where she once lived, hoping to transform it into a home for disabled children. But her dream collapses when her young son Simon vanishes without a trace. Directed by J.A. Bayona and produced by Guillermo del Toro, The Orphanage is a masterclass in atmospheric horror, blending ghostly apparitions with aching heartbreak. As Laura searches the echoing halls, the walls seem to breathe with sorrow, and every creak tells a story of those who were left behind. What sets this film apart is its tragic beauty. Each scare is laced with unbearable emotion, and the terror flows not from malevolence but mourning. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. Stop motion. A reclusive animator spirals into madness as she uses her mother's death as inspiration for a new stop-motion project. But as her clay figures come to life, the line between creation and destruction vanishes. Haunted by visions and bleeding reality, her obsession becomes her prison. Birth/rebirth. A stoic morgue technician resurrects a young girl using unconventional science, drawing a grief-stricken nurse into her chilling experiment. As the 2 women descend into a moral abyss, life becomes something unnatural and dangerously fragile. VHS Beyond. The cursed VHS tapes return with a new batch of found footage nightmares from different directors, each more twisted than the last. From demonic dimensions to digital possession, this anthology drags viewers into realms that should have stayed hidden. Piggy. An overweight teen bullied by her peers witnesses their brutal kidnapping by a stranger and says nothing. As guilt and fear fester, she's forced to choose between justice and complicity in a sun-scorched town where cruelty festers just beneath the surface.